This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Landmark College in Putney, Vermont, where targeted strategies and individualized personal development models help students to become their own advocates. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College. Learn your way. Succeed uniquely. Hi, I'm Dr. Ned Hallowell, and welcome to my podcast, Distraction. Today, we're going to take some time to focus on you and your questions that will include 3 calls from listeners, and we hope you will join and call us and be included in the next episode that we do based on the calls from listeners. And first up, we have our first call.
Dr. Hallowell, my name is Basil White, and I work as a policy analyst in Washington, D.C., and I have a policy/behavioral economics question for you. You mentioned a lot of the advantages and ROI for prevention versus treatment. So I'm wondering if you have any insights as to how we can reframe prevention as treatment instead of saying, we are going to prevent you from getting full-on diabetes. You reframe it as, you have a condition called metabolic syndrome, and we need to treat it now. Thank you very much. I think I'll call the Freakonomics guys and ask them the same question.
I love the way you put it. In the case of ADD, it's not a matter of prevention. It's a matter of managing this kind of mind, this kind of brain. You can't prevent it. You're born with it. What you can do is manage it so that it becomes an asset rather than a liability. And I suppose the analogy with diabetes, the only reason the diabetes thing falls down is there's nothing really good about diabetes. And there is something quite wonderful about ADD if you manage it properly. It can take you to the top. If you don't, it can ruin your life. So I don't talk so much about prevention as I talk about management, as I talk about taking advantage of the upside and minimizing the damage done by the downside. And that's what's in all my books. That's what I've spent my lifetime my professional lifetime trying to help people achieve. And the first step is to get rid of the misconceptions, get rid of the stigma, get rid of the notion that this is a scourge, that this is a terrible curse, that this is something to be avoided and shunned and, despised. Because that keeps people from learning the truth and learning how to manage it. I suppose just as if you were to deny the fact of diabetes, you'd die. Some people can die from the problems that come with ADHD. It's certainly not common to die from it, but it is common for your life to be ruined by it. On the other hand, your life, if you manage it right, can be dramatically enhanced by it. And that's the good news that most people don't know about. And that's what's in my books and in my talks and in everywhere I go. I try to tell people that good news. Thank you for your question. I hope I addressed it successfully. If I didn't, please call again. Okay, let's go to the next question.
Hi, Dr. Hallowell. My name is Liz Dion, and I was diagnosed at 30. I am now 37 with ADHD inattentive type. I have a race car brain, as you like to call it. I've read several of your books, and I listen to your podcast regularly. And I was just wondering your opinion on how to find your tribe, how to find the niche, and how to find what you're good at so you can thrive and put that race car brain to good use in your everyday life, whether it be with your kids, with your marriage, and with your career as well. Thank you again, and I can't wait to hear for your response.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. We live in the era of social media and the internet, and so it's a lot easier to find your tribe than it's ever been before. Terry Matlin has a number of groups that she runs online. If you just Google Terry Matlin, Trymatlen, you'll find an array of groups that she runs, and she's just a maven of groups for adults, particularly focusing on women. So I think you'd find an instant tribe right there. And then, there is the organization CHAD, which is a tremendous organization. The publication Attitude, ADDITUDE, is another wonderful resource. You can go to my website, drhallowell.com. There are a number of videos. Subscribe to my newsletter on the website. That's free. You could begin posting on Facebook, and you'll get a lot of responses. You could create your own group wherever you live. It's a fun thing to do. Create a discussion group, a get-together group. It's a wonderful way of not only learning, but of just getting sort of invigorated and getting laughing together and feeling good about life. People with ADD, when they come together, they can feel so validated and sort of, oh, good, it's okay to be who I am, and all the shame sort of disappears and it gets replaced by enthusiasm and excitement, and you can have a party. And for ADD, at its best, life is a party, a celebration. It's and you can just bring out the best in one another. So those are all possibilities. It's a way to get what I call the other vitamin C, vitamin connect. Don't remain isolated. Whatever you do, don't remain isolated. Feel free to email me here at the podcast, connect@distractionpodcast.com. I can respond to your email. You can also email me directly at drhallowell@gmail.com. I'll answer you myself directly. But we love to hear from you at the podcast. So if you can do that as well. You don't want to, one of my favorite mottos is never worry alone. So don't be isolated. And all the ways of connecting with others that I just told you, they'll all work. And it'll bring you the great rewards that come from connecting with others. Okay, thank you so much for calling in. We'll be right back after a short break. On the phone with me now is Rebecca Maddie, an associate professor at Landmark College in Putney, Vermont. As you listeners know by now, Landmark College is a sponsor of Distraction. So I wanted to have Professor Maddie join us for a bit so she could tell you about some of the wonderful ways they're teaching students who learn differently. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor Maddie.
You're welcome. It's great to be here.
Could you just hit some of the high spots? I know we don't have time to do it justice, but what do you do at this wonderful institution where you teach?
Well, my particular specialty is teaching first-year students. So I teach students when they first come into Landmark. Oftentimes they are coming from another institution where they've struggled. Sometimes they come right out of high school, and if they've had difficulty in high school, they will sort of start at Landmark or choose Landmark because of the supports we have and our approach.
What will they encounter at Landmark that they haven't had before?
Well, I think there's a number of things. We have a traditional curriculum. Say we are a traditional 2-year and 4-year degreed college. But I think the difference with the faculty is that we know the students who are coming in and we know how to work with them. We don't expect it to be easy. We are creative in our teaching, and we look for the best way to have a student approach the information. We know that it's going to be messy. For instance, the transition to college is very difficult for a lot of students, especially students with ADHD and other learning disabilities, and we know that, and we look for that. So perhaps at another college, when a student begins to struggle, that faculty member may not be able to determine what the particular issue is, but our faculty at Landmark can start to to look at a student's writing or a student's behavior in the classroom, or conversation we might have with a student, and we might understand that they might be having some memory issues, or they might have a language-based issue or difficulty at the point of performance, like getting themselves to sit down and do the work. And so we can approach them and give them very specific strategies and suggestions. And we know it's going to be messy.
I love that. You know it'll be messy, but you begin with the assumption that you can find a way. And one size does not fit all. So you begin with the assumption, okay, let's roll up our sleeves and find a way for this particular person. What'll work for you?
Yep, that's absolutely my favorite part. Yeah. I often tell my students, at least at the first year level, that if they haven't struggled and recovered, then I haven't done my job well enough.
Oh, that's great. Boy, well, this is why I love Landmark. It's just, in so many places it's cookie cutter and it's some method that they have patented or trademarked. And, we all know that, that's not going to work. So you guys just have an assumption that, you'll find a way. And show me your mess, and I'll help you find a way out of it.
Right, it is. It's very creative and it's fun, and I would say that our students come out just that much more prepared for whatever comes their way, because they can recover. Yeah. They understand that their being an outlier in one area makes them exceptional in another.
So not only are you teaching methods, you're teaching an attitude of confidence and can-do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we start just with the very empowering idea of neuroplasticity, and that you have some control over how you grow your brain and behavior.
Oh, this is great. Oh, I'm so proud to be associated with you guys. Professor Rebecca Maddie, thank you. And Landmark College, thank you. You're the best in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about Landmark College, just go to lcdistraction.org. All right, we have one more listener question.
Hello, this is Tricia Smith. As a parent, I am feeling desperate to find alternatives to stimulants and amphetamines to treat ADHD in my children. And I know that your show addresses a lot of that, but I'm wondering if there is medication, if there are alternatives like neurofeedback. If you could please call me back and let me know, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. The mainstay of non-medication treatment starts with education. So get a hold of my book, Delivered from Distraction, and read through that as much as you can. It'll give you a lot of information. So it starts with education. And then you want to look at coaching, lifestyle revision, trying to set up ways of getting organized for children, very important. And then for adults, big things like marry the right person and find the right job. So sort of management of how you're living your life. And then the obvious, physical exercise is huge, absolutely huge. If you get on a regular exercise program, it is miracle grow for the brain, as my friend John Rady calls it. Nutrition, eating whole foods, using omega-3 fatty acids as a dietary supplement. We particularly recommend Omega Bright as a brand. It's tremendous. You can just go to omegabright.com and order it. It's really a superb source of omega-3s. Getting enough sleep matters. If you don't get enough sleep, you're going to look like you have ADD whether you have it or not. Meditation is also been proven. If you do it regularly, you can get results on a par with medication. Breathing exercises also can help you focus. Regular doses of what I call the other vitamin C, Vitamin Connect, positive human connections, absolutely good for your brain, good for your sensorium, helps promote focus. All of those will help. Then you can get into the specialized treatments. Neurofeedback can be helpful. There's something called Alpha Stim that can be helpful. Sometimes people have found acupuncture helpful. Chiropractic can be helpful. There are, an array of herbs. The best book on that is called Non-Medication Treatments for ADD. If you just go to Amazon and enter that title, the book will come up. I'm blanking on the authors' names, but it's very reputable. Patricia Garbarg is one of the authors, but Non-Medication Treatments for ADHD. And it, lists the supplements and the herbs and vitamins that have a good solid research basis to them. So, medication doesn't work for everyone, and not everyone wants to take medication. So the non-medication treatments, that's the outline of them. And then there are medications that are not stimulants that can be helpful. My favorite is Wellbutrin, bupropion, but Strattera also has been helpful for some people, as has Intuniv. So those are worth looking at if you want to try non-stimulant medication. Okay, thank you for your call. Thank you so much for listening. Please do call in with your own questions. We will be sure to answer them on the air. Please rate and review Distraction on Apple Podcasts. A special thanks to the listener who goes by the username Marissa's City, who wrote, and I quote, "I have been an admirer of Dr. Ned's work for the past 5 years. His calm mannerism, insight, and close-to-home knowledge of ADHD are only a few of the wonderful gifts he brings to this topic. And I agree with him when hoping it would be labeled differently than as a distraction. Looking forward to listening to future podcasts." Well, thank you so much, Marissa's City, for that review. It sort of embarrassed me to read it out loud. We really do appreciate listeners like you, and we really do love to hear from you. It helps us grow. It keeps us, active and percolating. So please, the more you can reach out to us, the more we know what you're thinking about, and the more feedback we get, the more responsive we can be to what you want to hear. So please, rate us on Apple Podcasts, send us messages, give us feedback, tell us what you want, and we will give it to you. Email us at connect@distractionpodcast.com. I know that's a mouthful, so I'll say it again. connect@distractionpodcast.com. Or leave us a voicemail by calling 844-55-CONNECT. That's 844-55-CONNECT. Distraction is produced by Collisions, the podcast division of CRN International. Collisions, podcasts for curious people. Our producer is the wonderfully creative Sarah Girton, and our sound engineer is the impeccably creative Scott Person.